Hello, this is Oba Vincent, and welcome back to Financial Freedom for the Average Person. Today, we're talking about expenses, and particularly expenses with travel, so hotels and more, and we'll get into exercise 13. So first, travel. I do a lot of that, my wife and I actually write a travel blog at duckoutofhere.com, and I'm not going to go anywhere near into the details that I do in my travel blog. But anyway, since we have a lot of experience at it, we know how to do this relatively cheaply. And again, this is all about saving you money. And the idea is to reduce your expenses, still get the experiences and things that you want, but at the same time, save that money so you can put the money toward your goals, which you have already planned out from before. First, we're going to start with hotels because everybody needs to stay at hotels sometime. And I'll repeat this again and again and again. Make sure you're enrolled in the loyalty programs. That's how you get free internet. That's how you earn points. That's how you can use those points to get, free nights. Now, the prices are going to vary very much from where you book. I mean, you've probably all seen the commercials from Trivago, and they're true. I mean, depending on what site you go to, you'll find different numbers. Now, I tend to use a lot of different sites, but I will say the majority of, if not all, the main travel sites are either owned by the bookings group, which is Priceline, Hotels.com, Trivago, or Expedia. And Expedia has several of the different things as well. Anyway, those two are the main areas you can go to. Airbnb is always a great alternative, and we like them, especially if we're traveling abroad and we need to do laundry or something like that. And those end up being great experiences, very unique compared to a traditional hotel. Now, we utilize hotel credit cards. And we pay the annual fees, and a lot of them, if you pay the annual fee, you get a room every year for that. So for $95, it's easy to get a room that would be $150 to $200, and you avoid all the tax and everything by doing it that way. So my wife Reva and I, we have IHG cards, Marriott cards, Hyatt cards. Each of us have one of those. I carry a Wyndham card, and then we also carry a Hilton card, mostly for status. That's more difficult to use. Right now, the best deal out there is if you take the Wyndham card, in my mind. The Wyndham hotels tend to not cost that many points, and if you need to buy points, points are relatively cheap. So, for example, we just booked a couple of nights in Prague, and it was a 250 euro a night room in the Ramada in downtown Prague, but I could get it for 7,500 points. I could buy 7,500 points for like $49. So I'm paying $49 where other people are paying 250 euro. And then they pay tax on top of that. So again, you can see you can use a lot of flexibility in doing that, but it all starts with being enrolled in the loyalty program. I'll talk more about credit cards later on, and the big thing with credit cards, we carry no debt on any credit card. We got a credit card, it's paid off every month. If you do have credit card debt, you need to get rid of that. That again, going back to the rule of 72, that is where you'll get in trouble pretty quick. So very important. Keep those credit cards if you can use them and not be tempted to overuse them. Having them for travel is a wonderful way to get free travel. Next, let's talk about airlines. Again, first thing you want to do is make sure you're enrolled in the loyalty programs with them. I screen my flights typically through Kayak and sometimes Google. I also use credit cards for mileage and also to cover bags. So lots of times you can get I'll show you later on, some good deals on credit cards. But again, if you're going to use a credit card, you got to pay it off monthly. Okay, that is, right up as one of our very first rules. We'll talk more about credit cards later. For travel, they're great tools to get free trips and free vacations. So, but use them cautiously. Southwest is the best option for flying, in my opinion, because it still allows you to cancel your flight up to 10 minutes before at no charge. And no other airline does that. Also with them, you can get the companion pass. by using their credit cards. It takes 135,000 miles to earn the pass, but you could do that with just the business card and the personal card. And then, with that, your companion can fly with you for the rest of that year and the entire next year for only paying the tax, which is $5.60 a flight. Great deal. Be aware, international one-way flights can cost you more than even a round trip. There's some ways around that, and if you get into it, again, just search and search and search. Uh, Using travel agents, I tend to avoid travel agents. I'd rather do it myself directly with the airline using the big search engines, and that seems to have worked pretty good. I recommend avoiding business class. We know some people that will only do business class, and you're going to pay, through the nose to do that. Option I would toss out is consider an exit row. You get almost as much leg room, and you're going to save tons and tons of money. Airline credit cards, the ones that we're currently carrying, Southwest, Delta, and Air Canada. And Air Canada is an example where I grabbed the card because I needed a flight from Quebec, and I also needed a flight into Vancouver. So by getting the credit card, I got enough miles to cover at least two of those flights. And then I also got the free luggage, free baggage. So, getting the credit card saved me, probably close to $1,000 on those two. Okay, I gave you a screenshot of the kayak site, and like I said, this is where I like to. I use this frequently for screening, and you can see in here I picked going from Orlando to Las Vegas, and I picked a date a few months in advance, and you can see the best flight, the cheapest flight. Frontier popped up here is 133 nonstop. The thing with Frontier, you always have to worry about how much of the bag's going to cost, and you can adjust things, to screen down costs. It's a very good screening tool. And I am very cautious before I book a flight unless it's Southwest. Again, I can cancel the Southwest flight, and I will have some time to reuse the money if I do that. So I'm less nervous about doing that. If you cancel a Frontier flight, though, you're probably going to lose that money. So it's just something to think about. But it's a good search engine, kayak. Rental cars. Again, sound like a broken record. Make sure you're enrolled in the loyalty programs. Your credit card probably will have secondary insurance coverage for the car. A few high-end cars like the American Express Platinum or the Capital One Venture X, they are primary insurance, so that if you do have damage to the car, your insurance is going to pay for it without going through, or the credit card will pay for it without going through your primary insurance. Of course, you always have to have the liability. That's an addition. And I use Kayak here. And make sure you avoid the ultra cheap companies, especially in places like Orlando. And you'll see people renting cars for $6 a day or sometimes even less. But when you go to get that car, they're going to make you buy their insurance, or they're going to have all kinds of issues or rules. And then they end up being very dicey. I hear horror story after horror story, on that. So be careful. Um, then look for your discount codes, that you can find. What I'll do is I'll find if like budget's got a good deal. I know USAA has like 25% off budget, so I'll use their code. Then I'll go on, I'll find a AAA code. I will find um, one time I found one, I think was from Mouse Keepers, which is just a group of people that like Disney, and they had a discount code, and that was better than the others. So, you do that and you look. And also, the price changes a lot the closer you get to your rental, if it's not a real busy time of the year, lots of times the price will drop quite a bit. So often, a couple weeks out, a week out, I'm going to take another look at whether my rentals, go back over them. Be careful with one-way rentals, read the fine print. Some horror stories on that. You got a great rental, but you didn't read the fine print that there was a $2,000 drop charge or something in there. And I know people have gotten burned with that before. So be careful, make sure you know what you're signing up to. Video the car before and after your rental. Lots of horror stories, lots of things going on now with AI screening, but you'll think you're all done, and then a month later, all of a sudden you'll get a bill in the mail. So, be aware of that because you may have to fight that. And hopefully that'll get better as time goes on. Cruises. Now, I could write a whole book on cruises, so we spent a lot of time doing that. But here's some basic ideas. Never pay the full price. Almost never book through the cruise company. The main company we use to screen is Vacations to Go, and that's used by most people. They got a great search engine. We rarely book through them as well, but I usually can do better than that. When we do go to book, we use vacation.com, or I'll use Cruise Compete, which actually, if you know what you want, you put it out there, and then it goes out to several thousand travel agents, and they come back and give you an offer, as to what they can do for you. This will often be your cheapest vacation, as long as you're flexible. Let me show you what I mean. So this is the Vacations to Go website. And actually, I have a video up on my duckoutofhere.com page that goes into actually how you do the screen and everything. But here I think I picked April, and I took a look at, cruises going to the Caribbean. So you can see in here, if you look at the prices, for, 400 and, $66, $470, $480, you can get a 7-day cruise, per person. So you have to multiply it by 2. And that's your food, that's your entertainment, that's your transportation. You got to put tips on top of that, which will charge you about $40 a day for 2 people in a cabin. But it's hard to beat doing. And I highly recommend, if you haven't done one, give it a try. But again, if you want to go in July, it's going to be a little more expensive. If you want to go over the holiday, it gets very expensive. But if you're willing to go like spring break, things like that, shoulder seasons, you can save tons of money. All right, let's go into exercise 13. Now, I was videoing this, and I kind of knew it for a couple of months now. My number one go-to place for travel was freefrequentflyermiles.com. Gary Stigner ran the site. He gave some great recommendations on how to start out and how to do how to start playing the game with frequent flyers miles. And since it's gone now, Points Guy, Doctor of Credit, or Frequent Miler, all of those have some information. None of them come close to what Gary had out there, but they're still good sites. And we're going to take a look at show you how to find a couple accounts and open them up. These are just your your frequent flyer or frequent renter or frequent cruiser, whatever sites. Okay. And then go to Travelzoo, and I'll show you Travelzoo and get their newsletter because that's fun and it'll give you some good ideas. Okay. So first, I'm a Doctor of Credit, and I've talked about him several times. And this is what he has up there today. Now I'm doing this. I'm recording this in July of 26. So different things. They're always changing. But I want to point out at the bottom there. You see that Barclays 70,000 Hawaiian airline miles. It's a $99 annual fee, but if you approve to it, it only requires one purchase. So your first purchase, they give you 70,000 Hawaiian airline miles. That's enough to take 2 people to Hawaii for $99. That's a pretty darn good deal. Also, if you've got the credit card, your bags are free. So for $99, basically you have a trip to Hawaii. Then if you do a credit card like Marriott, which I think right now or just recently was giving you 5 free nights if you took their credit card. If you can find a hotel that falls under the Marriott chain for the points that they're giving you or allowing you, you basically have a free vacation to Hawaii for two. So it doesn't have to be expensive to do some of these things. Okay. Next, this is southwest.com, and I wanted to show you that, I just went into their sign up for their Rapids rewards for theirs. And one of the things, and a lot of the airlines doing this right now, a lot of hotels do this right now. If you look across there, or it says, what you get about the miles. Last thing is you get the free Wi-Fi. So you get free Wi-Fi on the flights if you're a member of their club. You don't otherwise. Same in several hotels like Marriott. If you're not a member of their program, you don't get the free Wi-Fi. So it pays to sign up for these things. Okay. Next, Travelzoo. Okay. And Travelzoo's fun because what they do is they screen thousands of travel companies each week, and they come up with what they think are the 20 best deals that are advertised out there. And then they give you a listing of where those deals are at. So for the newsletter and stuff, it's free. They do have a club, so you get like early access to things. But it's great and it's great fun. And we have booked several things that we've found through Travelzoo. Never with Travelzoo, but found through them and then use that connection. Okay. Bottom line. On travel, loyalty programs are critical. Do that. And the credit cards are going to get you free travel. Again, you got to use them cautiously. You need to pay them off every month. And then, look, anything, it pays to shop around. So, hope you enjoyed that. We'll get back with some another topic here in a day or two. Thanks.